Hello, my name is Jonathan Lawler, and I'm here today to present to you my graduate portfolio. You can find out a bit more about me by looking at the right side of the page underneath my picture. However, what I really want to talk about right now are my goals. Why did I come to graduate school? Why did I choose educational technology? Well, over the last 5 years, I've had several jobs. I worked as a science teacher in Darlington Middle School. I worked as an Adventure Children's Museum as an after-school educator. And right now, currently, I work at Blue Cross Blue Shield as a trainer and course designer. And of all of the places I've worked, everything I've noticed is that design is very important. And educational technology has really gone over how to design things. How do I look at my students and know what they need, know what the best way is to teach them? How do I actually create a course? The ADDIE design process is a wonderful thing that we've learned in educational technology, and I find myself using it now even before I finished my grad degree. And not only is it how to design the course itself, but it's how to design the technology. Making the technology is not good enough. You have to know what technologies that you want to use. You have to know when to use it, which is probably the most important thing that this grad degree has taught me. Technology is wonderful, but by itself, it is simply not useful. You have to know when to use it. And that is the big focus for me right now. Also, it has given me a lot of flexibility in my jobs. Not only can I create classes in a normal classroom setting, I can create online classes. I can create classes that mix them together, and that is an important skill. Now, this page just shows you some information about me. I started in Clemson, went to the University of South Carolina a little bit later to do my grad degree. I've worked in Darlington, Adventure, at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I've developed quite a few skills simply in these classes. The software skills that we've worked on, and also the design skills that we have worked on. Because of that, I've created several artifacts while I've been working. Some of these have been created at jobs I've had, some of them have been created in graduate classes. I did base my artifacts on the ADDIE portfolio. Like I said before, design is important, and ADDIE was one of the more interesting things we did. I'm going to start with analysis, or basically, how do you decide how you're going to design a course? What I really want to look at is my learner analysis, though. Basically, I went and broke down my students that I've had. As you can see, not only did I look at the students I was going to teach, I also looked at teachers I was going to have. Because not only, if I'm not creating the course for myself, other teachers have to be designed in order to best work for them. And that is what I did. And as you can see, I broke down everything about them: male, female, age, abilities, other things that might be important for them. And basically, I can use that information from my learner analysis in order to best create a course or best create a product. Design is basically creating the actual course itself, creating it, what you're actually going to use. And one of the best things I found for this have been storyboards. It's not simply being able to think about it and immediately going into creating it. It's actually taking it, breaking it down. What am I going to say? How should I say it? And by writing it down, by creating it beforehand, you can get a good idea, and you can change things before you ever have to actually go in and work on the material in an actual technology software. The next thing I looked at was development, the actual creation of a product. What goes into it? What do we use? And I have done quite a bit of it. As Adventure Children's Museum, I created a 8-week or 40-class curriculum that not only I was going to use, but also other people. As you can see, we based it on the science standards of South Carolina. We went in there and we created the best thing we could have to make sure anybody could come in and work with it. Again, it's not simply designing something for you, it's designing something that everyone can use. After that, you actually implement the products that are actually going to be used at this time. And as it loads itself up, basically These are actually designed to facilitate the student learning. What am I putting into effect? What am I actually doing? And as you can see, we have done several things. The one I really want to show you was a website we created for my EDET 793 class. It actually was designed for teachers. And not only is this going in and designing a course, it's also using that design of technology we talked about. How to do different assessments. I can't simply, if you look at it, cover, my lessons. So I have my lessons. I look at it. It's not just reading things. There's articles. There's discussions. There's videos to show examples. If you go towards the end, not only am I doing discussions, there's also practice they can work on. If they load it up, they can actually practice the work. And then they can get together in the form section and actually discuss all of the things they have learned, introduce themselves to different people, talk to each other, act as a collaborative learning group in order to best teach each other. And the last thing was the evaluation. After you have gone and completed what you were going to do, what do you do with it? Well, I actually created, while I was at EdVenture, a class survey. This was designed to be both a pre-survey and a post-survey. And what we would do is we'd have them answer the questions. They would give a score to it, 1 through 4. We would take down all the data. Each of the questions is matched to a specific objective that we had. So they weren't simply questions we thought were important. They were questions we built our classes around. After that, we have our pre-survey, we do our classes, we have our post-survey, then we compare the two. Did they improve where we were trying to make them improve? Did they get worse? How can we change our course material in order to make sure they're getting better where we want them to get better? And that was the purpose of this survey, to evaluate how we were doing in compared to the objectives we started with. And the last thing brings me down to the end of it. What did I get from this? What did I understand? What did I find? And like I said before, I've had several different jobs, but I've had 2 while I've been doing educational technology. EdVenture Children's Museum and Blue Cross Blue Shield. And even though they're very different classes, one is after school programs teaching kids, one is teaching adults, the same material has been useful. Design is design. Breaking down your students, changing your classes after you're done and evaluating them, using all the different learning styles I know are going to come up and making sure to build towards those, and also using the software that we were taught. Again, I haven't had a lot of experience, for only 5 years of actually working after my undergraduate degree, but I can see the transformation I have undergone while I've been in educational technology. Before, I would usually, when I was going to design something and create something, I would just go and create it. I wouldn't bother trying to actually break it down and build a skeleton or outline. I wouldn't bother finding out about my learners. I simply created it based on what I felt, and then I would change it afterwards. However, I have found that actually storyboarding, analyzing, making sure I know what my students need, what my students want beforehand, has led to a much more effective design process for me. I've been very happy to be in educational technology, and I hope you've actually enjoyed looking through my portfolio and seeing how I have changed as I have worked. I hope you have a good day, and it was wonderful getting a chance to talk to you.